Here we are, hitting up events, drinking our way through Chicago beer, and trying not to miss a thing.
Yeah, because, got a cork popped out, boom, it flies like fucking 10 feet. We're like, yeah, let's do it.
All you have to do is add some fruit, stir it up, and ride that milk-shaped wave.
Whenever I see him, I gotta take a photo with the most decorated brewer in Chicago, Jonathan Cutler.
It'll be like the stuff you hear. You ever go to, every time you go to Floyd's, all the music sounds like this. Raw, raw, raw.
Sometimes you want a small beer, but really, you want a big beer.
You gotta take in all those big aromatic hops.
Hey, what are you doing this weekend? Waiting in line for a bottle release?
You should have never been a fad. The black IPA is delicious.
Hey, and welcome to Chicago Beer Pass. I'm Brad Chmielewski,
Brad, what's up, man? I'm Nik White.
and I'm back from the land of hops and barley and everything.
Brad
out west.
skipped town, man, and went back to the old world.
Yeah, Munich, Prague, Vienna.
Czech.
Yeah, drinking liters of beer.
Literally backpacking through Europe.
Yeah, not really.
Maybe
I had a backpack.
Okay.
So I was walking around with a backpack at times.
But you forget different countries. You can hit different countries in a week over there, and that's probably that for me. That would be the most exciting part. Like I can be in different countries in the same few days.
Right. So it was cool. Land where Pilsen, where the Pilsner was, bred, I guess.
They named the beer after the town.
Right.
The malts too. Yeah.
Yeah, hitting up all those like Hofbraus and Lowenbrau and Augustiners.
Now, we live in a town where, we make some pretty good beer. How does your lager experience compare from Chicago to Germany and beyond?
They are good there at times, but then you're also on that like little bit of a vacation high where you're in Mexico and you're like, man, Corona is so good.
Fair.
Right?
Time and place, right?
So I may not enjoy that a liter of Hofbrau as much hanging out in Lincoln Square for, Mayfest or whatever. But there you're got the Oompa music, the German music going, and you're just like, all right.
It's you're all in. It takes you away.
So, there was times where they did feel like great, and then there was times where they're like, yeah, it's good. I don't know. It's not like any better. Or I don't have those beers enough here where I have like a great comparison to basically be like, oh yeah, that's what this one tastes like here.
There's a huge range in the lager space, and I'm thankful that we get to try. You know what I mean? All these different types of lagers, because I didn't we talk about Metro a lot, and I didn't really understand a copper lager until I had like Dynamo or whatever the fuck.
Sure.
So, yeah. So, did you have a favorite brewery over there? If you just had to pick one.
There wasn't ever one we went back to again. I think. Did we go to Augustiner? There was just one where the band was actually playing, and it was just like a giant beer hall, and that was really cool. We didn't really eat much there. I think we got like apple strudel, and then
sounds like
liter beer, that kind of thing.
You could go liter or half liter, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Or half liter, and they also had 0.3.
0.3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those I often did 0.3s a lot because we were going around a lot.
I'm out on the metric system. I don't even know what the fuck 0.3 is.
It's like a half liter.
Oh, okay. Half.
Yeah. So
Why didn't you just say
that? So sometimes they had the liter and then the 0.3, or maybe a half liter. So often did the 0.3 liters just because there's a lot to drink.
I mean, yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we did hit up one craft brewery in Munich. Was it in Munich? Yeah, it was in Munich. And it's interesting because all these beer halls, if you think back to Chicago and before Prohibition and everything, we had all these like tied houses.
Oh yeah.
Like
Schlitz.
Schlitz was everywhere, so there was nobody else. And that's kind of what it is there, where there's the houses that are like the Augustiner, the Einer, the Hofbrau house. No one is ever going to serve not their beer at these places.
Oh, they're kind of like a de facto
Yeah, the Hacker Shore
tap room
place.
for the Big Six kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because we were talking about the Big Six and the ones that serve Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so there's kind of, not that there's no market for it, but there's just no way any craft brewery could ever really gain any ground, it feels like, in that area.
Well, I know Stone was over there. I couldn't tell you where in Germany, but they bought an old church and they converted it to a brew hall, and then they ended up selling it. I think another brewery went in. I want to say it was either McKellar or who's that gypsy brewery that you say always has a good Wi-Fi when you go places?
Oh, Brewdog?
Yeah, it's either McKellar or Brewdog now. But
Okay.
Stone tried to go straight to Germany, and then they left.
I saw like a weird thing on Brewdog where they were offering half price to people 21 to 25.
Huh.
Basically,
That's weird,
to
bro.
get, because the youth, these kids these days aren't drinking beer
that's
to
true.
like get them in the door. But
Fucking yeah, beer's beer's what their folks drink.
yeah,
And their uncles and shit. It's kind of like vodka when vodka took over for bourbon. Like by the time the 70s rolled around, when bourbon hit rock bottom, it was all about, James Bond, shaken not stirred. It was more about bikinis and vodkas.
sure.
And bourbon was something that your dad drank. And I think that's for the youngins.
It's happening with beer.
That's
right
what's
now.
happening with beer, I think.
little
It ain't
bit.
rock bottom, but, like you're saying, the youngins aren't probably checking for beer as their first option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the craft beer place was interesting because, they had a hazy IPA. They have a West Coast IPA. And it's kind of like, well, I know what a West Coast IPA here is, but your West Coast is not my West Coast.
Because
So,
if you're in Germany, the West Coast is
like Portugal. No, yeah.
right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they're using American terms to
Yeah.
describe these beers, that it's an American West Coast.
Your
IPA.
East Coast hazy is it Russian.
Yeah, right? So it's like, that feels very confusing if you're not a beer person and you're going in there and be like, oh, these Portugal IPAs are really good.
Yeah. I wonder what kind of hops. Because a lot of times the malt bill and the hops are kind of defining these styles.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're like just all the way like taking are they literally taking Cascade and Citra and making, or they're using local hops. And,
I don't think there's that many those local hops. Like, there are like so many of those craft beers are American hops, or now New Zealand, Australia hops. So it's just kind of funny that our reference point for all these new craft beers is America kind of invented the new beer market, and so all these other places have to follow.
Yeah.
And the West Coast is almost like saying, this is the Vienna lager that started in Vienna.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make any sense in America, but unless you know the history, and now you're like, West Coast IPA. Oh, well, that's an American West Coast IPA. It's kind of interesting to see. But that was the only craft beer place we went to.
Okay.
I think the only craft beer we drank, yeah.
Huh.
Good times. Yeah, and now I'm back, and we're just drinking a big IPA here.
Yeah, this is the Pipeworks Indian Pale Ale with Galaxy hops, 6.5%. This is Infinite Galaxy.
Right. Can like jumped out at me. I was like, oh, this looks fun. I checked the date, and it was fairly new, September, because I looked at another date at the liquor store here. It was from 2002.
Not cool.
And I was like, whoa.
If you're a self-distro, right, it's your job to go get this stuff. But, if you work with the distributor's supposed to go get this stuff after, like, a certain threshold.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's 90 or 180, but after, like, 180 days or something.
Because they already had a lot of their Christmas beers out. And I know Beguile's Christmas beer isn't in package yet. They had that, so that means it's last Christmas. It's like, I got to check all these dates when I buy beer.
Man, shout out to Beguile. I saw a Beguile wrapped delivery truck.
Oh, nice.
And I wanted to stop and take a photo, but I think I was just like, it was too late. I couldn't. Traffic, man.
But this Pipeworks beer, pretty tasty. We often overlook them because they don't really have a location.
I mean, unless you count Bishi,
Right.
which is still kind of weird to me because I don't even think they're making like pipework stuff.
Right, which also Bishi is having, I don't know if you saw this, it's like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is Owen and Engine days.
Owen and Engine's back. O&E.
But the burger is these are the same places.
You know what's funny?
And Owen and Engine closed because it technically wasn't doing very well, right?
I don't know why they closed. I think she had 3 properties, right? Because she had the Fat Willie's Rib Shack right next door, or whatever it's called now.
Yeah.
Owen and Engine.
Jokers, I think it's called.
Right. And so those 2 and Bishi. And she was stretched thin. I think staffing and 3 locations was just too much for the lady who owns this joint.
But if Owen and Engine was doing gangbusters, it'd still be here.
I mean, yeah. If your show's selling out, you keep it rolling. Right. You don't just quit. You go out again.
So no one was like, and I was like, I thought I could just get the burger at Bishi. So
Yeah.
why is there now a special days for this burger? Is the Bishi burger actually different than the Owen and Engine burger?
Right. How much different can it be? Last time I was at Owen and Engine, they didn't have no engine. Like there was no CraftBeer.
Sure.
And that kind of pissed me off. It's literally on the marquee. It's the name of the place. Oh, but dude, you know the Al Cheval at Bavette's is the same crew.
Oh, yeah.
And you know when you go to Bavette's, Chicho Mio's next door. They have a burger at Chicho Mio.
Oh.
They have a burger at Bavette's. And then you go next door to Guild Bar. Guild Bar also has a burger. In fact, it's the exact same logo as the burger that you would get at Al Cheval and Small Cheval.
Oh, funny.
Yeah. So I'm like, it's the same thing, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how much different can they be?
But you can go to Bishi's and get Pipeworks beer, technically. So that's what. I don't know. Somehow Pipeworks still is doing well.
Yeah.
It seems like.
I wish they had their own space.
Yeah.
I wish they had a space. I've been there on a Saturday afternoon and they weren't open. So I wish that were different because I do like Pipeworks.
Yeah. But we got a lot to talk about this week. Recaps of things that Nick went to, one that I went to before I left.
Oh yeah, we saw you the night you left, or the night before you left.
We should mention we got this because we're going to talk about Bourbon County Stout.
We got this nutcracker that Brad bought here.
I found this. It's a Jungle Bird cocktail. It's tip-top proper cocktails.
It's the cutest can. It's green and blue with red letters, and it is every bit of 6 ounces.
Yeah, and you can. They were basically on the counter as you're checking out, and I was like, "Oh, I need that." They come in little 2-packs.
To tell you how cute this can is, I'm about to take a photo of it. There's a giraffe, and the giraffe has a top hat. This can is bringing me so much joy right now.
But this is a Jungle Bird, and that was Bourbon County Prop last year.
That's right.
Does this taste like anything close to what Prop tasted like?
No, maybe on the nose, right? Because it was tropical BCS.
Right, maybe like the lime aroma a little bit, but
yeah, some of those. This has more of a true tropical, almost Hawaiian punch kind of thing going. Right. And that was more of the beer was more of a lime focus.
You had some ice cubes in here, like they showed, a little ice cube and a little lime garnish. It's almost what you need. Some ice cubes, hide that.
It's layered though. I would have. Where'd you get this? You got this over there, or?
Yeah, at the liquor store.
Oh, over where you were.
Yeah.
Not in Germany, but here in.
Yeah, here in America.
Okay, all right.
In the United States.
Thank you. No, I do like those, man.
I don't think the Jungle Bird cocktail is a German.
You guys y'all went to this.
Those,
look at that Jungle Bird.
Those Caribbean cocktails.
You're like, watch yourself, mate. He probably wouldn't have said mate. But.
So yeah, we're gonna talk about Bourbon County stuff here in a second. Yeah, one more thing before we get into Goose. I mean, the sketchbook thing.
Yeah.
We need to squash this Goose rumor.
Brad, what are we doing, Brad? Okay. Okay.
This wasn't our fault.
What are we talking about right now, Brad?
That Goose Island, AB sold Goose Island back to.
We gotta stop. We gotta stop saying this shit, man.
Right, we're squashing it. We gotta squash it here.
Okay.
We were told this out of drunken steins.
Like most episodes.
Yeah. And it turns out there's some truth in it.
Okay.
But it got lost in translation. AB sold Virtue back to Greg Hall.
100% fact. So you're thinking the Goose rumor that we heard was actually this thing that happened with Virtue.
Right.
And they just got confused.
It got confused on what it was because technically Goose Island owned Virtue, even though the article or the story says, AB sold Virtue back, but really Goose sold Virtue back to Greg Hall.
Exactly.
So that's where that is. So I think we could put the other, Anheuser-Busch's out of Goose Island to rest.
I like it. Good job, us.
Okay, but Virtue is now independent
Man.
cidery that no one was drinking and no one will still drink.
I think last time I had Virtue, I happened to be in Michigan, and it was like a come to Kalamazoo thing with Shalonda, and I was like, well, since we're up this way, I want to go to Virtue. I think that's the last time I had it.
Okay. And it makes sense that at 312 Block Party, there had always been a Virtue area. There wasn't this time.
You're right. Not this year.
So.
Just pills and beer hugs.
Right.
And fucking that's Sophie that had that weird fucking tequila, tequila barrel aged Sophie.
Okay, so that's where that rumor is, and we can until we ever hear something again. But that's the end of that.
We speculate wildly on this show, so
Right. But no one's really talked about this
disclaimer.
This Virtue thing either. I think it's almost so unimportant that no one even cares to report on it.
Yeah, and you told me about it, and then I think you linked a story from like Michigan Live or something. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's kind of flying under the radar, which because surprisingly, Greg Hall is beer royalty in my opinion. If there was a beer around Mount Rushmore, I think Greg Hall would be on it.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, like no one's talking about this, and it is kind of surprising. At one point, there was a push for Virtue for obvious reasons. Not anymore. I would say the last few years, not so much.
No, yeah.
Yeah, even with AB's backing, still not so much. I've been to some cool places for the first time ever because of Virtue. First time I ever went to Lonesome Rose. It was a frozen rosé Virtue event.
Oh, okay.
First time I ever went to, man, I love this bar too. It's on Armitage. It's super fucking chill. No one ever talks about it. Not Scofflaw. It's a, goddamn, it's going to come back to me. But my first time there was a Virtue event.
Oh, okay.
It's west of Scofflaw on Armitage. What is the name of this joint? Because it was closed forever. It's a hole in the wall that just makes really good cocktails, and it has no business being this good. Oh. And it just is very unassuming, and they have a nice little backyard space. Fuck.
Ouija's?
No, it's not Ouija's. I like Ouija's too.
Okay. You got the backyard.
It smells kind of weird in Ouija's sometimes. Yeah. But I do like Ouija's. No, it's not that far west.
Okay.
It's in between. So it's in between Ouija's and Scofflaw.
Oh.
It's a cool spot, and it's right next to Ground Control, which closed, the vegan joint. What's the name of this bar, man? It was. Oh, but anyway, we're off topic. But yeah. Virtue used to be cool, man.
Yeah, but okay. So that's that rumor. Done. Not a rumor anymore. Sketchbook.
Yes. Their barrel aged series was released last time we saw each other. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So 4 entries, and as far as I can tell, this is the only time they had mixed 4 release.
Or 4. No, they did 4 before because, remember when they did the fungus?
The mushroom beer. Yeah.
Isn't that part of this series, or is that different?
I don't think that was barrel aged. I think we had that the day we interviewed them for the first time, and we were in Evanston. I think that's when we had that, and it was really good because the mushrooms actually came off like syrup in the tank. Oh
yeah, that's the Turbulence Stout series.
Turbulence was the base.
Yeah. Okay, so those aren't barrel aged stouts. Those are just regular. Those are just adjunct stouts.
Oh.
Right.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. Oh, you're saying there was a stout series that just wasn't barrel aged.
Yeah. Okay.
I believe that.
And then, so they got this going on, and one of their main brewer now is from Goose Island.
Yeah, well, Caesar's the head guy.
Yeah.
And then they have and then one of their brewers is from there were 2. The guy serving beers was from Goose, but then there's another guy floating around. He was from Haymarket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they had 2 guys there. Yeah, and they were going into these beers, man.
They were tasty.
One was they. What I do like is that they have some challenging names, and they made us really reference like, well, what the fuck does this even mean?
Was there a Celeste or a
Celestial,
and
then there was Brabant,
Okay.
which was the Belgian dark ale, and then there was a figgy pudding Celestial,
Okay.
which was just Celestial with fig, and then there's a fourth one.
There was a barley wine. Was that the figgy?
No, the figgy was the stout. We gotta look it up. I don't know.
Right? Wasn't there a barley wine or a dunkel?
There were 4.
I forget. I really just like the base one.
Oh, Lapwing was the Scotch ale.
Scotch ale. I knew
All
it
right.
was something.
Okay. So yeah, man, we picked so we won't remember shit at this point.
Right.
Oh, so Celestial and then the Figgy Pudding Celestial. So that's the barrel aged stout. Lapwing was the Scotch ale, and then Brabant was the Belgian dark ale in 4 Roses barrels.
Okay. I didn't have that one. That was the one I didn't have.
Okay.
It was kind of out at 3 and whatever. I think I got a pinky sweater or something else at the bar.
Oh, that's right, because this was at the Skokie location. They gave you a ticket for a beer at the bar, but then this event was in the brewery.
Yeah.
And in the brewery, there was a fella pouring from like 5 drafts they have in the back of the brewery. Massive space.
Yeah.
I actually forgot how big this place
And I
was.
had never been in the back there where the little event was being held, or the tasting, I guess, of the stouts.
Yeah.
I think overall they're good beers, but they are not beers that like knock your socks off. They're probably
socks not knocked.
Yeah, no knocking these socks. They're just I think they're just solid beers. Like they're I don't know. They're not beers you're going to chase, but they're beers you're going to enjoy when you have them.
Oh, for sure. I think, and there's other breweries like this. Sketchbook's strong suit is balance.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I think when they make a barrel aged beer, a lot of times we're looking for stuff that is just kind of drawing us in. Like, we're looking for layers, and sometimes we're looking for like depth, or sometimes we're just looking for something to just be flat out big and over the top for no reason.
Yeah, knock your socks.
And that's not really the lane they play in. I think the closest they got to it for me was that figgy. I thought the Celestial was a little light bodied for me to be a barrel aged stout, but then the figgy added a nice layer of some dark fruit and a richness that I really kind of dug. So that was probably my favorite that night of those 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we could buy them that night at, I guess, some kind of discount. But we were both disappointed that they just weren't doing a mixed 4-pack. The price point, I forget what it was, felt steep for 4 beers that I maybe want 2.
Times are hard. I think we priced it out at like 35-ish.
Right.
I think
like $8 a beer.
We kind of rationalized it like, hey, if we were at a bar, $8 for a pint of this beer, just barrel aged beer, local, it would probably be underpriced.
Yeah.
So if you view the 4-pack like that, then sure, these are appropriately priced. I think what Brad and I were discussing is that $35 price point should provide me an option to mix them. Like, we have commitment issues. We don't want to have 4 of the same beer.
Yeah.
And not for 35.
And for us, that gives us 4 beers to drink on the show.
Right.
Versus just 1, basically.
And then, if we really dig one and we want to have some friends over, then we go back and get a whole 4-pack of the one. Mm-hmm. But yeah, but and I don't think that's a Sketchbook thing. Outside of Temperance, nobody's really doing the mixed 4-packs.
Right.
Not of the barrel aged stuff. So.
Yeah.
Shit. So.
I don't know if maybe there's some sort of legal thing of doing that, but I don't know. It just seems like charge, a couple bucks more.
Yeah, I think they were saying, one of them was saying that there's I think they made less of 2 of them.
Oh, okay.
And that's got to be part of it, right? Because she was saying like, well, you can get these for the 20.
Right.
For a 4-pack.
The Scotch Ale and the Belgian Dark were a little cheaper.
It was over 20, and if you want the other ones, I think you need that 35.
Oh, okay.
Plus, with that Evanston tax, you coming out there with like about 45.
But that was.
Oh wait, we were in Skokie. I'm sorry, we were in Skokie.
That was the day before I was gonna leave. The next day, Nick, you were at this Bourbon County event,
Man,
right?
I was trying to wave the flag, man. I was trying to do all the things.
Yeah.
So that was night one of doing all the things. 2023, Bourbon County.
How'd it go?
It was a good time. The Goose has been around for 36 years. This is Bourbon County number 31.
Okay.
This year there are no. This year there are 6 releases, and so that's one less than last year. Last year there were 7.
Okay.
And there's no barley wine. These are all stouts.
Right.
Yeah. So I think their idea, the presentation was kind of like, hey, this is a book, and these are chapters in the book. It's a story of original, and we're telling it through the eyes of these variants. But this is really a cohesive fucking thing.
And were you like, that's great for you. Nobody cares.
No, Brad.
No one reads anymore. No one reads.
No, Brad. I did not say that. I'm sure people read books.
I'm gonna skip to chapter 3 because I don't want 1. I've read chapter 1 like 20 times.
No more giraffe, top hat giraffe jungle bird for you, bro. What did we do? We had 2 different versions of original.
Okay.
One when you first walk in, then they walk you to a back for a presentation, and you have another one. And I think they were saying that the TTB doesn't allow you to put every ABV on the can or the bottle. So I think it falls in 2 categories. So 14.1 and 14.6.
What do you mean they don't allow? Like they can't change. Oh, when they get the labels.
You get the label, and your beer has to fall within 3 points of the label you printed.
Okay.
And I want to know how does a TTB check this, right?
There's just some drunk guy just back there be like, this one tastes like 8.
Gotcha. I think they were saying they had
no way anyone's
no one's checking that. They had they bottled BCS on 13 different dates this year. So there's 13 different date codes, and their belief is that, hey, these are nuanced. This is BCS, right? It's a blend of different barrels, but you might taste some nuance between each batch that was bottled because they don't keep track of the ratio. Because I think OG BCS is a blend from like 4 different barrels. I want to say Heaven Hill, Four Roses, Wild Turkey, and Buffalo Trace.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and the levels of those aren't really measured, so they're just like, well, let's just have one from each date code and see if we notice any differences. And now they discuss the differences. So that was cool.
I feel like that's something they would pick off, but no one else is going to be able to pick that off. And someone might be like, if anything, someone would be like, I really like this last one I had, but I don't like this one as much. It could backfire on.
It could, or you could say, man, I liked it better on draft than I do in this bottle. And that's all really attributed to whatever batch you got.
That's right.
So who knows? I think it all tastes like BCS. Let's start there.
Yeah, okay.
But if you've been drinking it for a while, like a lot of folks have, because it's been around for 31 years, you might notice it to be different. So, and they're saying, hey, if you do notice it to be different, well, at least we're telling you this is what we did. Okay. So that kind of thing. I think the best beer I had that night was the Bananas Foster.
Okay.
I think
that was the prop one? Or?
It used to be prop. It debuted as 2017 prop.
Yeah, okay.
But now it's just called Banana Foster Stout, and it's going to see national rollout. So the prop this year was a rice pudding inspired prop.
Oh, the horchata one?
Right. So I asked them that. I'm like, why didn't you just name it horchata if it's prop and it's Chicago only? And Chicagoans probably drink more horchata than they eat fucking rice pudding.
Yeah.
And I think.
Like, damn it, good point, Nick.
And they were like, well, let me go get the other guy. So they got the other guy. And he was like, well, the big reason we didn't is because the rice is toasted. So it brought out another kind of component. And then I was like, oh, I guess that's right. He's like, it tasted more like rice pudding than it did horchata. And then I talked to another guy, and he was like, we could have named it churro. We could have named it churro BCS.
That sounds good. Sounds real good.
Yeah, exactly. But
that would have sold.
The original vision was rice pudding, and we just named it rice pudding. When you drink, like, okay, let me start by saying I've never had rice pudding.
No, it sounds gross.
Who the fuck's
disgusting.
Who the fuck's eating rice pudding? I just want to know. And it's not a diss, and I'm not judging. I'm just saying I personally don't know.
Grandma's.
Have you ever had rice pudding?
I don't think so because it sounds gross. And if I saw it, I'd be like, no.
If you were like, yo, I made some rice pudding, I'd be like, well, why'd you do that?
I've even seen like tapioca pudding, and I'm like, I don't want that.
So, but you drink this.
I don't want a lot of puddings.
It's weird. You don't.
I'm out on
in general. Let's start there. In general, well, my fucking, you pack my lunch. I'm 9 years old. You pack my lunch and there's a fucking chocolate pudding in it.
Here. Yeah, I'm probably just gonna trade this.
This show is off the rails, by the way. I just want you to know. So I drink this beer and I'm like, well, I don't know what rice pudding tastes like, but I kind of like this beer because it tastes more like, I would say, vanilla custard or like a flan. It kind of tastes like that. I don't get the impression that there's like rice in it.
I hate flan.
So that's what it tastes like.
The churro, BCS. I'm on board next year.
I think the way, because in this BCS, there's raisin, there's brown sugar, there's and there's toasted rice. All those things together, to me, kind of tasted confectionery. It tastes like a dessert. I wouldn't say it tasted like I can't say it tastes like rice pudding because I don't know what the fuck rice pudding tastes like. Okay. But if this is what rice pudding tastes like, then it was good.
Oh, so maybe you're a rice pudding fan.
Maybe I'm a converted rice pudding fan through booze.
Okay.
The best beer there was Banana. And then after that, I think Backyard Rye is back. It's not a rye barrel this year. It's just bourbon barrels.
Okay.
And then after that, I thought Angel's Envy.
Nice. Okay.
I wanted to try the Eagle Rare again. Eagle Rare is a 2-year reserve. I wasn't a big fan of it that night. I just thought it was very similar in deliciousness to the OG. So I don't know if that's a knock on the 2-year reserve or the OG is just really good this year. But I just thought there was a lot of parallels there, and not enough distinguishable characteristics in the 2-year for me to be super excited about it that night. So, yeah. But that was it. That's the 6.
Did they say anything about less going out this year or more limited quantities of things or anything like that?
I think they are all systems go. I think this is their flagship brand. And I think this is the beer that they fuss about the most all year. And I think it's just going to flood the streets like always. I did ask about the 6-pack scenario, and has Goose ever decided, let's just make a 6-pack of this? He's like, well, we really just leave that up to the store, to just create their own. The problem with these stores is that you have to buy more than one OG, You had to buy like 4 OGs.
Or you did. I don't.
That was the scenario.
I think last year the lottery burned everyone on it because you overpaid for this lottery, and then 2 weeks later you could get them all cheaper.
And then, you buy the whole enchilada, it's like $200+ worth of beer.
So
It's a lot of beer.
I don't think most people are going to do this lottery thing this time, if any of these stores try to pull that.
Yeah. Well, they're on the hook for buying so much OG in order to have the variants. I will say that things are less polarizing this year. There's no weird beers this year.
No anise or anise one?
No anise one. What was that? Is that the fig?
Yeah.
There's no Midnight Orange. There's no Kentucky Fog. The most bizarre one is the Angel's Envy because there's like a distinct port wine note in it.
Okay.
But that's not even weird. I actually think Angel's Envy, if somebody said Angel's Envy was the best one, I'd be like, well, it's pretty fucking, considering how much not good Dark Lord I've had aged in port wine barrels, I think they executed this thing well. It's like you can taste all the components. It's like all the sounds on all the music in the song, you hear everything. Okay. It's all very nicely put together. Even if you don't like port wine, I was like, I don't really like port wine like this, but I can dig what they did with this beer.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it was good like that.
Nice.
I thought it was cool. So the ones I did like the least were the Eagle Rare and the fucking Prop. I'm like, I'm out on dessert beers. I'm an old man. Fuck these dessert beers. It's cool. It's not for me. The Eagle Rares taste too much like OG. So I would say Banana, Backyard, Angel's Envy, and then OG.
So Eagle's
4th.
You're paying up probably for a price that doesn't do anything.
And I think the last time they nailed one of these 2-year reserve things might have been the Weller one from a few years ago.
Okay.
But they put them out all the time. Last year was the Jim Beam one. A couple years ago, there was a
Old
a
Forester.
birthday bourbon, Old Forester. That's another one.
There's a
So
Blanton's one.
Blanton's, same thing. These 2-year reserves, how much? They're different flavors from the OG, but are they better? And then they're like double the price.
Right. They're just trying to capture the bourbon, the whiskey crowd that likes those specific bourbons and whiskeys.
For sure.
Also go get those. Then.
For sure. And I think when you're a 36-year-old brewery, this is kind of shit you have to do. Nobody's checking for Kate the Great, whenever the fuck that came. You know what I mean? Like, that's what Harpoon. When was the last time somebody fussed over a fucking Harpoon release, annual release? Or even Great Lakes, right? Like, when you talk about Goose, you have to see them as kind of like this. There's somebody great uncle at this point. They're grandfathers in this shit. So, I mean, they kind of have to do these things. Right. So I think all things considered, I think this is a tighter lineup than this is for sure a tighter lineup than last year.
Okay.
It's a very tight lineup. So.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'm sad I missed out on it. I'm not gonna pick them all up. So the chances of me having all of them this year are probably pretty low.
Yeah.
Unless I'm at some event or like 312 Block Party where they have them.
Yeah.
Where you can get them much cheaper than I like the 312 Block Party size of them. Where it's like, oh, here's like, what, 4-6 ounces?
That's the thing about, I hate to compare Rev and Goose all the time, but we live in the, Sun-Times Tribune, Cubs, White Sox, right? We live in a town where we compare shit. Me and you can drink a Rev beer and it's no big deal. We can drink 2 Rev beers, it's no big deal. I think the 16-ounce format, you need a couple more friends to get through them all. So like you're saying, I get it. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like the drinkability on these, well, it's Bourbon County Stout. Drinkability is going to be low, right?
Yeah.
It's like a 14% beer. So I kind of wish there was.
They put them in little cute little. How big are these? 100 milliliter cans.
I'm trying to tell you. You know how fun that would be for Chicago only. Now don't get me wrong. Prop is a nice gesture, and Banana Foster used to be a prop. So I respect the fact that it's a Chicago only release. But if you want to do something for Chicago, and I actually didn't think about this till right now. If you want to do something for Chicago, fuck making everybody buy all of them at 16.9 ounces and give Chicagoans a little buddy version of these the whole thing, or a fucking Jungle Bird tip top version of the whole thing.
Or they should play around with the prop size because it's only Chicago. Try a 16-ounce can of your prop one time. See how that works.
Just like one can.
Yeah.
We would drink that. We would drink that.
Just play around with it and almost have some more fun with it rather than making it just feel like the lineup. That's like cool. Having a Chicago only release is very neat, but then also they're all Chicago releases to me, so I don't really notice the difference because they're all here.
Yeah,
right?
You're literally in Chicago.
So it's like it's cool, but then it's not special at the same time.
I agree with that. Yeah. And to refresh that Chicago only mentality, I think a mixed 6-pack just for Chicago should complement the prop.
Yeah.
Don't replace prop with this mixed 6. Give us the prop and then give us a mixed 6 just for Chicago. Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Because, nobody wants to fuck around and blow $250, $300 in some places for these fucking beers. Nobody wants to do that.
No.
Not saying it ain't worth it, but we just don't want to do that.
And people didn't do it last time.
No.
And that's why they're still there.
Yeah. So.
But anyway.
Fun time, man. Cheers to those guys. For them to give a fuck about these beers like this after 36 years is very cool. So cheers to them. And
then trying them all, like you did, or like I missed, or someone else might have missed, or couldn't go to that because it was press only review. There was something like FOBAB that happened the next day that I also missed this year. I think I missed last year's too. Yeah, you traded in FOBAB for other stuff now. I was in Italy. See? But honestly, I don't know. Would I trade in PCS preview and FOBAB to go to Italy once, twice? Maybe I would.
I don't think that's a bad trade. In fact, I think you won.
Okay.
I think you won.
But then I don't get to talk about them. I just get to hear you tell me about them.
That's why we're a team. And then we'll find these beers, I'm sure.
Yeah. So FOBAB happened this past weekend. I saw Solemn Oath took home Best in Show, right?
How about that? That was their ode to. I had this beer because I was with the Imperial Oak guy, and I was asking him. It's an ode to either Orval or Duvel, and I forget which one.
Oh, it's that beer?
That's the beer. That's the beer that won. The oak aged version of that beer took gold in the wild Brett category and took Best in Show.
Oh, I didn't know it was that beer.
was
That
that
is
beer.
a great beer.
It's really good.
I had it at the Bug that you didn't go to. That's where I first had it because they were like,
You got to drink
yeah,
this
you
one.
got to try this.
It's good. Wild beer. No, yeah, wild beer Brett was that beer.
Oh.
So
I
cheers
think
to
I
them.
need to go over to, their spot over here in Chicago.
Oh yeah, Still Life.
Still Life.
Still
See if
Life
there's
on
some
Armitage.
bottles or something.
A lot of Chicago. So Hidden Hand, Val Dior is the name of that beer. So this is the oaked Val Dior.
Right, okay.
That won Best in Show. That was a wild Brett beer. The runner-up was Moore, Mindy 2023.
Okay.
That was a strong porter.
Who has another location opening in Fort Wayne?
Fort Wayne, Indiana. Yeah, I don't know where the fuck that is.
How much money do these people have?
A lot.
That's a lot of money.
A lot. Because they're building breweries everywhere they go.
Yeah.
They must be doing all right. It's the same thing. Like if our shows are selling out, we just book more shows. If our breweries are doing good, we build more breweries.
I guess, but with the amount of breweries closing, they're like, nah, build another one.
Their burn rate's different from fucking Urban Brew Labs burn rate.
Metro?
Metro's burn. Oh, their burn rate's definitely different from Metro's burn rate. I'll just name off all the local crews that won medals.
Okay.
Microphone. They run a silver in that strong porter category. Who else won? Maplewood took home a medal. Solemn Oath won 2 medals. One for a barley wine and one for the wild Brett beer. Who else? Sketchbook. Sketchbook took gold. So cheers to them.
For what beer?
Other Pale Beer. That is a wild name for a category. Other Pale Beer. It's called Triple G. It's a Belgian style triple.
Huh, okay.
Yeah. Metropolitan. Barrel Aged Generator Doppelbock.
Okay.
Half Acre for Orin. Yeah. Haymarket for Icky Bob Thornton, which was like a blonde fruit beer. Yeah. Off Color took a gold for Mezcal Barrel Aged Beer for Tacos. Yeah. And Penrose, the Wild Brett category. So the Wild Brett category, Hidden Hands took the gold, Penrose took the bronze.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So good for them. And yeah, actually, I think that's it for the Chicagoland breweries, man.
All right. So how was FOBAB overall? Like, what'd you think this year?
I think FOBAB's a good hang because it's the party where you know everybody there. I think that's the number one reason why it's good.
Okay.
Parking is legit now because, you park essentially right at the building and in covered spaces.
Okay.
And then there's seating. People who bitched about seating, me included, I never sit in the seats when I go to fucking FOBAB, even though there's like in a stadium now.
Right.
It's the same place as Wingfest. So it was called the UIC Pavilion when I was a kid, and now it's the Credit One Arena.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
I think we sat in the seats 2 years ago.
yeah. The installations were different this year. There was a lager lounge, and then there was a Hopwater Super Zero lounge.
It's from Rev.
Powered by Rev. So when we first got there a couple years ago, I think it was the Phase 3, right?
Right, with their seltzer.
Yeah, Phase 3 was there. And I don't know what was on the other side, but the Lager Lounge Hop Zero combination, pretty good. I think they're hitting their stride with those two things.
Okay.
There were 14 local lagers, local being the burbs too. Goldfinger's beer was the first one to kick in the Lager Lounge over the weekend.
Okay.
They had branded cups, which was cool. So I really dug the Lager Lounge. And then I haven't had all the hop waters, but I really like that Rev hop water.
It's pretty good. I think Lagunitas is a little better.
Okay.
But I think theirs is second.
It's nice.
Sketchbook is coming in third on that.
Yeah. So those installations were good. If you go to the Brewers Lounge, I think they had a bourbon installation from Thornton Distilling, which is down in like the South Boroughs. Oh, it's not too far from Homewood Flossmoor Station.
Okay.
So yeah, so that was cool. Firewater replaced Bub City as the food of choice in the Brewers Lounge.
What's Firewater?
Firewater is a barbecue joint out there by like Moore, the original Moore, I think.
Okay.
It's like a smokehouse out there.
Interesting.
So those things were cool.
Did Goose have the buzz out?
Oh, and then Goose has this huge fucking bus.
Which it was cold as shit because it was snowing, right?
No, it
Oh,
wasn't.
that was the next. That was next weekend that it snowed, right? Or
Uh,
a couple days later, it snowed.
it for sure snowed, but
But
no,
not
for FOBAB. FOBAB was like 50s.
Oh, okay.
FOBAB was chill, but it did snow around then. You go outside Goose. Goose didn't tap everything from 2023. I think they might have tapped Backyard, and then the rest of the stuff was like last year stuff.
What?
I mean, you know, they want you to get to, I don't know, they want you to go to the store, I guess.
Guess they're like, no one's gonna.
go to
Even
the-
less people buy these if they try them here. They'll be
I
like,
think I
I
had
had them.
Toasted Barrel. I think I had from, what was that, the pandemic year?
Okay.
I think I had Toasted Barrel, Elijah Craig. Oh, Bardstown Distilling Company was next to Goose outside. So it wasn't just Goose outside. There was Goose, then a big fire pit, and then Bardstown.
Okay.
So they were pouring a Kentucky bourbon finished in BCS barrels.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
What was your favorite?
there's a crew called Seeds in Michigan. They do wild ales. I really enjoyed that. I did try the Resident Fool. I did try Resident Culture. I was with Cheers to Jacko. I was with Chris Jacobson from Cargo CraftBeer, and he said you need to go drink both of the Resident Cultures. So Resident Culture, they won 3 years ago for a wild Brett beer, but they had 2 stouts on.
Okay.
That Raspberry Dark Lord was pretty good. It's called Raspberry Diamonds. That was good. Superstition had a mead. It was 8% mead. It was like 8%.
It was a mead.
8% though brings it back to something being
Yeah,
fun.
okay.
So I think those are the ones I remember.
Nice. Oh, sounds like a pretty good time.
It was okay. It was okay. I went on Friday this year instead of Saturday.
Okay.
I haven't been on Friday in like 5 years. Oh, side note about this party, Stout hasn't won since 2018. So there's a lot of noise in the Stout category. If you talk about best in show,
Yeah.
for best in show, a Stout hasn't won in like what's that, 5 years?
Are the stout people mad?
I don't think anybody's mad. It's more just an observation.
Okay. Did you do the bracket thing this year?
Yeah, I did the bracket thing.
How'd
this
you
year.
do?
I did all right, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I won.
We won?
I fucking won.
Shit. Okay. What do you win?
Who was on my team? I think you were in a pot. Everybody throws in cash.
Oh, nice.
It was funny because the name of my team was Hotel Lobby Bottle Share.
Okay.
It's the same name as last year because I didn't pick a new name. I almost picked my name this year. Losers don't get blowjobs. That was going to be the name of my team.
Okay.
And I'm glad I didn't. But I was this close. But I'm glad I didn't because I won. So who was on my team? Oh, I picked Solemn Oath, Penrose, Workforce. There's a crew in Denver called Westbound and Down. I picked them. And then I had and Firestone Walker. So fucking everybody on my team hit.
Okay.
Except for Workforce and Eastbound and
Workforce
Down.
was when we were doing all the Oktoberfest. I was like, I think you got to pick Workforce.
That were my-
And you were like, I always do.
That was my first pick. My first pick was Workforce. So 3 of my 5 teams hit, and then and then Solemn Oath won Best in Show, and you get more points
and
for
that
that.
put you over, I'm sure.
Yeah, so it was fun. Shout out to Christina, love Christina Rose, because she came in second.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that was fun. Yeah. We were all talking about how if you didn't get stuck in the elevator, the greatest FOBAB of all time was probably Bridgeport.
Yeah.
I don't think we've hit a high water mark. Yeah. It all ties in because that was the last time, 2013, that's the last time they came out with Backyard Stout. Goose.
Okay.
So that was Goose's last time being, Kings of FOBAB. And that was the last good one.
That was also when I was doing doing
You stay,
afternoon and
you
evening.
stay all day.
You do all your recordings and pictures on that first
Yeah.
session, and then you go to town on the end. It's a ride.
I think, we're 10 years removed, but I still think that's peak FOBAB. Like for me,
Yeah.
that is peak FOBAB, is Bridgeport. So, Bridgeport's getting a new brewery. Did you see this shit? Other half from New York.
Oh.
There's a theater down there called the Ramona Theater, that got revamped.
Okay.
And then there's the Duck Inn guy, Kevin Hickey's running the kitchen. And then there's going to be a movie theater, concert hall, 1,500 people. And Other Half Brewery is the brewery project.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay.
So you look up Other Half, they're from New York, but they got locations in like Philly and DC and some other shit. So this is like their fourth city, Other Half Brewing.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Other Half's going into this fucking theater.
That's cool. There is a new brewery opening up in the suburbs. I took a picture on my phone, but it's recorded.
Tonality,
Tonality, yeah.
Mundelein.
Mundelein, yeah.
I only know it because I work in Lake Forest and Mundelein's right there. But then also Tighthead is in Mundelein.
Yeah.
So
That's coming online.
I think it's on. I think they debuted for FOBAB.
Oh shit. I was like, oh, am I going out there? Like,
Kind of curious. I saw food.
okay.
I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, I might have to see what my schedule looks like.
Check my schedule, man.
Anything else that I missed that you hit on?
It was a busy week. That was about it though, man. Yeah,
Okay.
I think I did a little too much FOBAB Friday, a little too much. So that was all I did, but it was fun. So, but then Goose preview was a little later this year. So you go Goose, take a day off, and then go FOBAB. It was pretty intense. I didn't do shit else.
Sketchbook Goose.
See, it was pretty
Day off, FOBAB.
pretty wild.
Okay.
Pretty wild. So.
And then coming up this weekend is the latest Deep Woods release from Revolution.
Fuck, DB double barrel VSOD, right?
Yeah. And then I think the Temperance stuff is out too.
Oh yeah, shout out to Might Me's Right,
Yeah.
because they had their launch or their peak, their sneak peek the same night as Goose did.
Okay.
So yeah, I didn't go to that. Shalonda went, she loved them. You know, so there's that.
Okay. Well, you like them. You thought they were pretty good last year, right?
Yeah, I think this year there's a vanilla.
Okay.
So she's texting me during the Goose thing. She's like, "There's a vanilla one I really like." So my immediate question is, well,
What kind of vanilla is it?
it's so it was Madagascar.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
One of them is
Seen
one of them is a Madagascar vanilla. So, but they do the right thing because they do have a mix 4, and they're the only ones.
Right.
They're the only ones that come out of the brewery with a mix 4 pack. So.
Okay. And then there's got to be why am I blanking on the name? The taco place.
Oh, dude.
Stouts.
You know what I had that was really good? Side note, taco place stouts.
Rick Bayless's. Jason.
Oh, Cruz Blanca.
Blanca's
Cruz Blanca.
Stouts gotta be.
I'm not on that. I'm not on the Cruz Blanca list, and I'm not on the Maple list.
And I don't think I even tried last year's.
Last year I went. I feel like you weren't around because you could have went.
Okay.
Because I feel like I was at a table. It had 4 placemats, and it was just me and Shalonda.
Oh yeah, maybe that also happened while I was out of town.
I think so. But
but those get released usually Black Friday weekend, too.
Yeah. One of those I really dig. It's the one that's got coffee and raspberries.
Okay.
That one I think is great. The other ones I don't have to have, but if they ever have that one, I'd try to get it when I'm there.
Okay, so that release should be coming up, possibly a preview event, too. Who else? Anyone else do the big stuff? There should be a flannel pajamas
Right.
release happening soon, too, right?
Yeah. Who do we name? We named Temperance, Sketchbook, Goose, Cruz Blanca.
Beguile.
There's a Beguile. There's a Krampus coming out from Old Irving. Who else are we missing? We talked about Sketchbook.
I'm sure there's a more release.
I think more maybe it was just a Mindy.
Okay.
Yeah, Mindy, which is I think old Rip Van Winkle barrels.
Okay.
That's a nice one. It's not bad at all. Well, shit, it took runner up. It's not bad.
So
I think I went to that last year. It was just not bad at all.
you got a lot of stout options here in the city.
You do, man. We're lucky. Sounds like Benthic is coming out on November 8th.
That's right.
And apparently Orin is out, I guess.
Right, November 8th. That's tomorrow.
Yeah, Benthic is tomorrow.
Okay.
I think I want to try some Benthic and maybe some double barrel VSOJ this weekend. VSOD.
Nice. Okay. Sounds good. All right. Then I think that's going to do it. For a recap, we'll probably be drinking stouts, talking all about that for the rest of the year. 7 weeks left of the year.
Fuck.
That's it. All right. ChicagoBeerPass.com. Take care.
Cheers.